Margaret Kuhlman of Soul Astrology. This new moon in Scorpio is bringing in a lot of change. On this same day, the nodes of the moon shift from Aquarius, Leo, to Capricorn towards Cancer, and Uranus shifts from Taurus back into Aries, and tomorrow, that is the 8th of November, Jupiter shifts from Scorpio to Sagittarius. That is a lot of qualitative change. So the energy is changing in its quality, in its colour, its flavour. I think of the nodes of the moon as being the direction of humanity's evolution at the time. They are in their particular opposing signs for about 18 months each. So it takes 19 years to go right round, and they're going backwards. We take the mean node because the true node is wandering to and fro all the time. But in this new moon chart, you will see that as Jupiter in Scorpio is at 29 degrees 48 minutes, the North Node in Cancer is at 29 degrees 48 minutes also. It could not be a more precise trine. And it's a fairly precise square from the Uranus at 29 degrees 57 minutes. This new moon is bringing in a pattern that of three things that have just shifted sign. So, taking the nodes of the moon, where we have been focused in our humanity's growth is from a position of Aquarius, the view of each individual being of value in the community, towards letting ourselves be who we are within that community. That's the Leo end. So coming from the heart, not allowing a sense of community to squash our sense of uniqueness. What we're heading for now and for the next 18 months is to use the Earth's resources in a way that nurtures, which isn't much like fracking or actually using up any of the fossil fuels. It seems to me there must be other ways of making energy, and with all this scientific skill that we now have available, it is amazing, isn't it, that there's not more research done on how to produce more energy, unless, of course, the research is being done, but is just quiet or squashed. So Jupiter trining the North Node is suggesting that all the work we've done in the last year, so this is not just global but I mean personal as well, is bringing us to a place of perfect understanding of the emotions, how we need to use our emotions in our development. And as the Jupiter shifts into Sagittarius, maybe there will suddenly be a whole load of ideas of what we can do. The square from Uranus to the nodes suggests that if we just did the independence, and I want to do it my way, to exclusion of other people, we would be right off humanity's track. And Uranus is opposite to Venus, and will be all month. So Venus in Libra, retrograde at first until the 15th of November, and then direct, is actually making sure that in our independence, our autonomy, that we don't forget about relationship. We all need to be loved. So we need relationship, even though it seems to pull us away from that autonomy. So it's a dilemma, but it needs to be sorted, thought about, accepting both ends. And Venus working beautifully with the Aquarian Mars in this new moon chart. So an understanding that what affects one affects all. So we can't really think of ourselves as completely free from the community we live in, and humanity is one great big community. The quincunx from Uranus to Jupiter looks to me like the service that the individual can perform when remembering it, we are part of the whole. So when we stop trying to pull away and pretend we don't know, whatever moves us emotionally, that's the area we need to go for and put in our own gifts to make a difference. If each individual in humanity would do that, what an incredible change there would be. But that's what the energy's calling for. Things are a little different at the full moon, in that Mars has shifted into Pisces. Energy is no longer able to stand back. It's as though the emotions get the upper hand, and we are just so sensitive. The whole of humanity's emotions rising up and squaring what's trying to go on in Sagittarius, where the Sun has joined Jupiter in trining Chiron. A tremendous focus on the suffering, on the hurts, and healing them. The moon opposite the Sun, being in Gemini, is focused on how we communicate about these things. So it's communicating about whatever the hurt may be. Mercury in Sagittarius by then will be retrograde from the 16th of November for about 20 days. And being square to the Mars and Neptune, it could be making the emotions into a lot of steam. But as the Mercury is retrograde, it shows that we are thinking back over how things have been and how they came to be the way they are, which is never a bad thing. And the suggestion is that we take care of our emotional reaction patterns. It's a very good thing every now and again when something really riles you or upsets you and you didn't realize that you felt that way, because there's the truth of it. And once you know you feel a certain way instinctively, that is, from your history and your character, then you know what to discount when you're looking outside yourself, because our reactions always come from our history and our character. What we are reacting to is just what's there. As Mars will be in Pisces for a good deal of this month, we'll need to be aware of our emotions. First, we need to be thoroughly aware of how we're feeling, and we have to go in to do that, so that we stop letting the outside be the trigger and cause and blame it for how we feel, and we go inside and see what the feeling actually is. The next task is to see how we can make any response appropriate to what is out there. It needs to be appropriate to us, of course, something we would naturally do, that we can do, but it also needs to be appropriate to what's out there. The knee-jerk reaction to helping up somebody who's just fallen down is inappropriate, because when people have fallen down, they usually need to stay there for a while the shock subsides before they try to do anything. Most situations have got something of that in them. Most of our reactions are going to be slightly inappropriate, simply because we're not properly there. We are in our own past without realizing it. First you realize it, and then you adapt your response to the outside and what's appropriate. It sounds so easy when I put it like that. We can but try and smile at ourselves when we mistake and get it wrong, and go and apologise if it really was very wrong. And otherwise let the moment pass and be in the present with the next moment. My feeling is that's why we are born, to grow this awareness, to expand ourselves. into the universe, into the oneness, in consciousness, without being hooked up in who we think we are and what we think we want or don't want. This whole month seems to be about making a very big adjustment from how things have been to how they now turn out to be. And if you're anything like me, you will have been tripping up over things for the last week at least, finding things going in odd ways and people behaving in ways you hadn't suspected, and forgetting things and losing things, and being generally confused. Somebody said that confusion was a fertile soil, and a fertile soil grows wonderful things once their little shoots appear out of the dark. So wishing you much beautiful growth. Thank you. In the face of so much change and potential confusion, sit back a moment and contemplate yourself. Who are you really? What do you want to use this life for? It's not your first by any means, and probably not your last. Life on earth is a gift that few souls achieve. How beautifully the physical experience expresses the energy that forms it. How amazing that you can create such forms through desire alone. And when you bring in love and compassion, how wonderfully your heart lights up and showers the universe with colour and with joy. Everything on every level is there already. It is your awareness that grows. This is why you came. Your quest to be totally aware of all, instead of lost in it.